10 mistakes most people make when they want to get back with their ex. I've listed those mistakes because when I speak with people on the phone, they often tell me, I should have watched your video earlier, I should have talked to you earlier because I've done those mistakes and now it is so hard. So the idea of this video is to really empower you and also use the mistakes that people make in order for you to succeed in getting back with your ex. These are the 10 most common mistakes. You have other mistakes, but these ones are really the critical one and the common ones. If you avoid those mistakes, I can guarantee you that you will increase your chance of you getting back with your ex. I'll explain everything after the jingle.
IGetMyExBack.com. Everyone deserves a second chance.
The first mistake is when you make yourself available, what we call the being on the hook. The problem with that is that you reflect an image of someone whose only purpose in life is to be with their ex. And in a way, there's a bit of a seduction game in relationship recovery, and your job is to be attractive. We discussed about what you should be doing apart from being attractive, but your job, the part of your job is to be attractive. And needy is not sexy. Think of it as, put yourself in the shoes of your ex. Seeing someone begging, being clingy is not something attractive. It's not something where you feel like, oh, I want to get back with that person who seems weak. Even though you're suffering, I understand that you're suffering. I've been in your shoes. I know it's hard. I know it's painful. But you shouldn't show this to your ex, and you shouldn't be always available. So the thing is, when you're available, if love was a market, you reduce your value in the love market, right? We value things that are hard to get. We value things that are when there's a scarcity of things, right? So if you're available, your ex won't necessarily feel like, okay, he or she is important because, I can get him or her whenever I want. So it's very important. It's very counterintuitive. It's against what you want, because what you want is to get back with your ex as soon as possible. And therefore you feel, okay, if I'm available, it's going to be easier. I remove the friction from us getting back together. But when you do that, you lower your value and you show yourself as someone less attractive. And it's actually against any sort of rules or strategies if you want to get back with your ex. So that's the first one. The second one is to be over emotional. And again, I'm not challenging the fact or criticizing the fact that you could be emotional and that you could feel that you want to get back with your ex as soon as possible. But you have to acknowledge, and that's the purpose of my videos, is to help you take a step back and reflect on things. And rather than acting without thinking, use my expertise, use the knowledge I have helping other people in your situation, where you can actually make some decisions and actions that are actually in line with a proper recovery. So love and emotion, of course, there's a lot of hate, of anger, you name it. But your ex didn't ask for them. Your ex wants to enjoy, in a way, that post-breakup. They don't want to hear that you're sad. They don't want to hear that you're angry, that you're jealous. They don't want to hear that negativity. That's also, linked to what I discussed before. You want to be attractive. If you're negative, if you show negativity, whether it's anger, whether it's towards them, whether it's towards yourself, you won't be attractive. One thing that I see, not frequently, but that I see, emotional blackmailing doesn't work. Your ex is your ex. If you want emotional support, and you have the right to want emotional support, your ex is the last person you should seek for help. Okay? Some people think like, yeah, but they need to know that I'm suffering. And if they know that I'm suffering, they would want to help. And therefore, I'll be close to them. And therefore, we're going to get back together. Okay? By this thinking process is completely wrong. Because when you think about, oh, I'm depressed, I need my ex, you're not together anymore. Their role is not anymore to support you. Okay? You're not on their team anymore. And the last thing they want is to spend their energy, their time helping you. Even if they have feelings for you, even if they care for you, that's not the point right now. So you have to find other ways to feel better, other ways to deal with those emotions, this pain, and this breakup. Whether it's with me, with the friends, going out, but your ex is the last person who can help you feel better. Fighting when it's bound to fail. Probably the most common one is when I see people and I get them on the phone and they describe the situation and it's clear that it didn't work. It's clear that there's no compatibility. It's clear that you don't have any sort of history that you can leverage. It's clear that what you've done is going to be very hard to recover, almost impossible. So the idea is like, are you wasting your time? Either watching my videos or thinking about your ex. There's like what I call recoverable situations where I know if you do the right things, if you avoid the mistakes that I'm telling in this video, you have a high chance of getting back with your ex. Of course, it depends on you. Of course, there's a bit of uncertainty because we're never sure, but at least we know if you do the right things, at least you know that you're gonna, the chances are quite high. So I put together, in order for you to assess this, I put together a quiz for you to know if you have any chance to get back with your ex. It's about 20 questions. It's totally free, and it gets you a result right away. But at least you know where to stand. The link is in the description, and you get a result right away in your inbox and also on the screen. Okay. 4, not being consistent. And I often talk about consistency, especially with my clients. I bombard them, I spam them with this, I remind them of this. It is really hard to be consistent, but it is key. Because what your job, as we discussed, is to be attractive, but it's also how you can explain, demonstrate to your ex that you're changing. It's all about change, right? And therefore you need to be consistent. Your actions need to be consistent. Recovery takes time. And it takes time because your ex will assess your actions over time. Let's say, I don't know, your ex broke up with you because you're lazy, I don't know, or you're out of shape, and you go to the gym for a week. Would that be enough? No, it's all how you can demonstrate that you have a consistency, that you have adopted new routines, new life, that fundamentally, at a deeper level, your life has changed and it's on track. The only way for you to change, the only way for you to, really, when we think about change, it's really about how you can sustain this. So the same way as the New Year's resolution, most people fail at sustaining their New Year's resolution. This is your New Year's resolution, is to get back with your ex. So what should you be doing now in order to sustain this effort? 80% of people don't stick to their New Year's resolution. So be mindful that when I talk about change, when I talk about, okay, this breakup can be the driver of change in your life, be mindful that most people, if they don't have the right tool, if they don't have the right support, if they're planning the wrong way, most people fail. Okay? I don't know the stats because there's no stats about that, but I guess for New Year's resolution, it's kind of, you do it, but you're not really into it. I hope that the stat is different when it's about getting back with your ex, because now you have a real drive. Okay? And it starts with how you feel. How to be consistent is how you can detach yourself from those strong feelings, from those strong emotions. Because the feelings will drive action and will drive result. If you feel worthless, you won't go out, you won't meet people, you will stay at home. Right? The result is that you will create an image towards your ex of someone who's negative or someone who's not attractive. Okay? If you feel good about yourself, if you feel empowered, then you'll take positive actions towards your life, right? And that will reflect on your ex. 5 is the letters. You will not see a lot of content on letters on my channel because I don't think it's the best tool to get back with an ex. Don't get me wrong, I'm not against. If you send a letter, it's fine. I like to proofread the letter of my clients before they send it, because most people, they overdo it. they are over apologetic, they are over emotional, they send a 12 pages letter where what you have to project to your ex is like acceptance. Okay, you can apologize if you screwed up, accepting the situation, leaving the door slightly open, and that's it. And you shouldn't take thousands of pages to express this. And the most important thing, when you send this letter, don't have any expectation, because that's not a tool to get back with an ex. It's a tool to maybe clear the air, maybe start from fresh if things weren't said during the breakup, if you struggle to express yourself. Sometimes, I prefer to write things to people rather than telling them, because then you can reflect, and I understand this. So maybe there are things that you were not comfortable saying at that time, and that you can say in that letter, but be really mindful when you send that letter. It is not something that will bring your ex back. It will just change the dynamic, possibly, but it's only the beginning of the beginning. 6 is making your ex jealous. Some people do that, whether male or female. Date someone if you want to date someone. You're single, okay? So let's be clear. Your ex broke up with you, you're single. You do whatever you want. But date someone if you want to date someone. If you date someone with the idea of making your ex jealous, the problem is that you're gonna be either triggering that your ex is running after you, because like, oh, I'm losing him, he's moving on with someone else, so I'm gonna run after him. But, and I think it's more risky, your ex will be, oh, okay, he's moving on that quickly, or she's moving on that quickly, I mean nothing to him. I thought we had a chance, but now he's dating someone, so I'm done. Okay? So be mindful that if you date someone, it's really because you have the desire to date someone. And I've had clients dating people, their ex were dating someone, they had some sort of history without, for a couple of months, and they managed to get back together because they realized that that's not what they wanted. Okay? But do it because, date someone if you want to date that person. Don't have a hidden agenda, don't have something where you want to manipulate the narrative here. My job, as I say a lot of the time, is I'm a risk manager. So any decision you make, we need to ensure that it goes, it's helping you move forward without having any risk. So I think in that case, you can go very far, but it's super risky. The same as letters and grand gestures. Could be very risky, could have high reward, but it's super risky. And therefore, I don't recommend my client to do that, because I'd rather have like tiny steps where we are guaranteed of results rather than big steps where it's a bit uncertain. 7, rushing things. It's very emotional. We want to get back together as soon as possible because I want to ease the pain right now. Fact number 1, a recovery takes always more time than we want. Always. You want to get back with your ex now. It will take months. It will take weeks. It's always longer than you expect. Fact number 2 is the more you try to force it, the more you force it, you accelerate, you make it risky. As I discussed, the idea is to really reduce the risk of this recovery. The problem is that, as I discussed, you might be struggling because you feel I'm making 1 step forward, 2 steps backward. I'm, initiating the conversation, but I don't know, there's nothing. She or he seems distant. And then the other day, they will text you, they'll be super enthusiastic, and you don't exactly know how to deal with that or what to make of those things. If you are in a situation, or if you have any sort of question about your situation that's quite specific to your situation, and you want to know whether coaching can help you, whether it makes sense to work with me, give me a call and I'll tell you. There's a link in the description where you can book a free call, and I use those calls to get to know you, because I guess you're watching my video. If it's the first time, welcome. If you're an ongoing viewer, welcome back, by the way. But maybe you need a bit of context, you need a bit of specificity on your case. Give me a call and I'll be more than happy to guide you, and we'll discuss together whether coaching is the right thing for you, whether you should stop doing things, whether you should, I will recommend books or things for you to read and develop yourself and help you get from where you are to where you want to be. 8, faking it. Similar as jealousy, using social media, friends, coming across as more happy than you are. The problem with that is that your ex knows you very well, and so they will spot it right away. So what I say is, it's okay to be sad, it's okay to be depressed, it's okay to cry, but don't necessarily show it to the world, and also don't sort of dismiss this. Okay, because the fact that if you fake it, your image becomes a fraud. It's a little bit like a magician where you find out how he makes the trick. As soon as you realize that someone is lying to you, someone is pretending, we talked about attraction, you have zero attraction anymore. Your value is none. So it's very dangerous. Be really mindful about that. If you want to play this game, it's super risky. Again, I wouldn't do it because usually it doesn't work. And yeah, imagine, put yourself in the shoes of your ex, realizing that you're faking it. It's not gonna work, right? 9, getting back together right away. We discussed, I want to get back with him or her now. The problem is, and that's what I have to coach sometimes my clients on, is, and there's an helicopter passing by, the danger to your self-esteem. So your ex broke up with you. He or she took the decision. She left you, for months, alone, struggling with this, and you get back together right away. So have you had time to really address the root cause of that breakup? Have you had time to really reflect on yourself? Because perhaps, this is the opportunity to express your needs. A breakup, a relationship is 50-50. The reason your ex broke up with you, she or he took the decision, but I think it's always a dynamic when you analyze things, it's always 50-50. So how can you, because I always say, it's not about starting where you left, it's about starting a new relationship. It's an opportunity for you, and I think that's why sometimes a breakup is very healthy, because it provides the structure, the foundation to create something new and to create something stronger. If together you work at building something stronger. If you take it slowly, if you manage to express your needs, if you work on your communication, all these aspects, okay? Because otherwise the risk is that you're going to reproduce the same mistakes. I don't mind because you're going to call me 6 months after telling me, oh, he or she broke up with me, but that's not exactly what I want for you, okay? Decision, could be led by emotion and ego. So really be mindful about those things and reflect on things. Because sometimes we feel like, okay, I want him back, I want her back. It's not exactly healthy. My job is to create the conditions that you have a healthy and sustainable relationship. Number 10 is thinking about your ex. How come? A motion video about getting back with my ex, and you tell me not to think about my ex. That's the whole point. The problem with, and we discussed about emotion, we discussed about feelings before, because they drive your actions. And when you keep on thinking about your ex, when you're obsessed about your ex, because sometimes we create those obsessions, when we do that, it has an impact on our work, sleep. We don't function normally, right? We have this, maybe the weight on the chest, maybe, this lack of sleep, overeating, all these things that are preventing us from being who we are, from being, functioning normally. This will impact your daily life, and this will impact your recovery. It is important, you have to be on your A game to get back with your ex. And so if you let those emotions, if you let this obsession, take the driving seat of your life, you will not be able to recover. You will not be able to communicate with your ex properly. You will not be able to do the right things to get back with your ex. Of course, it starts in your head. And that's why I mentioned in the slide. And I love it because it's so exciting that how can we, together with my clients, and perhaps you can try to do it on your own. I won't lie, it's quite hard to do it on your own. I haven't actually, if I take my case, I went through therapy obviously because of my job. And everything that I've learned, I would have never learned on my own. and I've read like tons of books on psychology. But it's really about how you can uncover those things, those mechanics. How can you take a step back? How can you unfold all these things, probably this traumatic event or any type of events in your life that are sort of triggering those emotions, that are triggering this obsession, that are preventing you from feeling balanced and detached from this breakup. And it's fascinating for me to really help people to understand and really get them more empowered and really regain control of their emotion and therefore their actions. That's it for me. 10 mistakes. These were the 10 mistakes, 10 common mistakes. It'd be great to see in the comment section if you've done any of those, if you've learned anything new. I'd love to hear from you, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.
I get my exback.com. Everyone deserves a second chance.